Welcome back, everyone, to BBB Sharing. I'm Evie, Director of Ignite, sparked by BBB. And with me today, I have two wonderful guests from Outdoor Building Concepts, Doug and Sharon. How are you all today?
Doing well.
Doing well? Well, thank you for coming in. I know it's kind of a gloomy day, but we try and keep it bright and exciting in here. As you can see my bright yellow walls. But tell me about yourselves.
Well, God bless you guys. I'm the owner of Outdoor Building Concepts. Opened a company in 1986.
Wow.
Yep. We are family owned.
I love it.
My wife runs the office, and I'm out on the field working and running the jobs. We've been a BB&B member, A+ rating for many years. We do quality craftsmanship work. And if you want to hear a little bit about me, I can tell you a little bit about me.
I do want to learn about you guys.
All right. Well, my father, we used to call him a weekend warrior. So every weekend there was a project going on at the house, or he was building a house at Lake Gaston. So the helpers were myself and my older brother, okay?
I love it.
And we were holding sheetrock up as little kids, and he would figure out how to make something to help us hold it up, you know.
Wow.
And so that's how I got involved in construction, was my dad. And he taught me a lot. He taught us safety. And I want to show you a little something that I've got. This is called a brace and bit drill.
Whoa, yeah, hold that guy up. He's cool.
All right, this was my grandfather's, and I was only allowed to use hand tools. So when you wanted to drill a hole, I would have to drill a hole like this.
Really?
With this bit or many other size bits. And if I wanted to cut something out of wood, I had to use a handsaw. Wasn't allowed to use electric tools until I was about 14 years old.
Oh my gosh.
So I was really happy to get this. And my dad goes, "You want this?" I said, "Heck yeah." So
That's amazing. So two things that you said that I absolutely love. One, family business. I grew up in a family business, so I understand the heart, the soul, the blood, sweat, and tears that go into a family business. It means so much to you. It's your legacy, right?
yes.
And the other thing that I loved is that your wife works for you too. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of times we hear about gatekeepers, and there's receptionists that are really great at what they do, and they get you all the information that you need, and they get all the customers to you, and then there's gatekeepers that just don't. They're like, "Oh, we're too busy," or "This person's not available right now." And I remember my mom helping my dad out all the time in the businesses. And then she had me and my sister, and we became the secondary receptionists and secretaries for my dad. But we loved helping because every opportunity that came around was an opportunity for the family business to grow.
Okay.
And so those two things I love that you guys do and said. They're really important. And with the hand tools, what was one of the most important lessons that you learned?
I have a scar right here. And when you use a handsaw, keep your hand out of the way.
Oh, yeah. I remember watching my grandfather back in Greece. He never stayed still, always working on something. And my dad was from a farm in Greece. So he was always putting up a fence or fixing the barn doors or something like that. And he would always get hurt. And I'd say, "Grandpa, what's wrong with you? Why are you always getting hurt?" And he was like, "Sometimes you're not paying attention, and this is what happens." And I'm like, "Well, I better pay attention then."
How true, how true.
So tell me about some of the projects or the outdoor stuff that you guys do that a lot of your customers come back and say, "Wow, thank you so much."
When I started my business, my wife convinced me to go into business. I was a project manager for a company called Architect, and Sharon's like, "You just need to go in business for yourself." So I opened a business with $50 in my checking account and a truck payment, and we started. And back in the 80s, sunrooms were real big. People would take their screen porches and close them in and turn them into another room. So we used Anderson casement windows, okay?
Really?
Yep. And I would usually go into a neighborhood like Salisbury, for instance, and start a project. And before I'd leave the neighborhood, I'd be like 3 more projects I'd be doing in there. And I sold so many Anderson windows back then that Anderson Window Company offered to give me a free ride to their factory for a weekend so they could show me how they make the windows.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like,
You know,
this
it's
me,
funny.
a little
That's
me.
amazing that you chose Anderson Windows because they're also accredited.
Okay.
They're also an accredited business.
All
So what a dynamic duo, working with an accredited business and being an accredited business. That's awesome.
Well, they took care of me, that's for sure.
And that's how you got your name.
That I didn't want to be Doug Vikstrom, construction guy, so I came up with outdoor building concepts to give me a variety of sunrooms, porches.
Yep.
We do a lot of high-end porches. We do decks, patios,
Wow.
kitchens, bathrooms. And a lot of the
That was a great idea to change the name so that you could do a lot of different things and it didn't kind of like narrow it
put me
down for
into
you.
to a category that I didn't want to get locked into. But right now we're working on redoing a master bedroom suite.
Wow.
And also a sunroom on
Really?
another house. Yeah. That's the kind of work that we do.
What is the change that you've seen recently? Because you've been in business a long time. So what are some changes that you've seen, especially recently in the construction of homes, that you're like, wow, I never thought people would come back around to doing that? Or,
Well, the biggest thing I've noticed, I shared with Sharon the other day, that now a piece of plywood is 47.5 inches instead of 48 inches. They're going to be cutting down wood more and more.
yeah,
The quality of the materials are not as good as they used to be, for sure.
I think it's funny that you say that. My uncle's a contractor, but he's a contractor in Charleston, South Carolina, and he'll come up here and get stuff that he needs for down there because he's like, I can't with the materials that they send me. They're just not up to par with what I want for the homes that I'm building. And it's just sad because you guys care so much about the projects and the things that you do for people's homes, and then the materials that you get don't reach that quality all the time.
That's correct.
That's awful.
Yes. We just finished this past summer a room addition on a 200-year-old house up in Beaver Dam. And our goal is when we add on that it doesn't look like an addition. And the floors have to line up. You're not going to step up or step down.
Yep.
I want the floors to line up. So on the final inspection, so this is an old house with a red tin roof on it.
Oh, wow.
We did the addition. The inspector who did the final, she had not been there at all. There are other inspectors that showed up. So she comes and knocks on the front door. And I answered the door because the homeowner's like, the inspector's here. I'm like, so open the door, and it was Janet, and she goes, I rode all the way around the house. I know there's an addition here, but where is it? I'm like, that's what I wanted to hear. So I took her in, and she passed it out. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
So that's one of our long suits, is to make it blend.
That's amazing. And I will say this, there is a difference between what you do and what some other people do, and then just night and day. For example, my aunt and uncle's home in Virginia Beach, that was kind of slapped on there.
When
And it
surface
shows.
up,
Yeah.
construction guys aren't there.
Yeah. I know. That just wasn't done pretty like it should have been done. So tell me about how people can get in contact with you guys.
The biggest, I think, is Google now.
Really?
We do advertise in a magazine up at Lake Anna. That got us our foot in the door up at Lake Anna.
Wonderful.
So that was a good move on my wife's part to find that. And like I said, Google people now, there's just Google and we pop right up.
They do Google a lot. We do a lot of studies here in the office because we handle so many scams and complaints from people. But we also try to keep up with information that's going to best fit for you guys. And they've noticed that a lot of people are using ChatGPT or not even ChatGPT, but any kind of AI to look things up, which is just baffling to me because I caught myself doing it the other day. I used to Google everything. I would Google everything, especially if I needed like a synonym for something, like what's another word for, and now I just go straight to ChatGPT. And it is insane. And there was a study done where it said like ages 25 to 35 now are using AI for everything, which I'm not surprised by.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right.
That's what's going to, the construction company, business is going to be hurt by that. I mean, it's hard to find employees
It is, yeah.
that want to work. And I've got a few good ones that want to work.
Yeah.
It's hit and miss.
That last part, it's hard to find employees that want to work. That's the difference. You can find employees, but the ones that actually want to work, it's not, they're a diamond in the rough.
Yes.
Big time.
So I'm hands-on. You know, I'm there every day. And I left the guys this morning.
Really?
They go, I have an older fellow. He's in his 70s. He's my head guy. They say, does he know what's going on? I said, yeah, well, everything's been covered. You know, just do what he does.
He's making
Do what
sure
he
that
says.
everything is good to go before you're gone for the day.
Right.
That's wonderful. Do you have any last minute things you want people to know about?
Would say that we are, my wife can obviously say this, we're a debt-free business.
Wonderful.
We're not doing your job to pay for the job we just finished. And that was one reason we made it through the recession. Mm-hmm. Well, I've been doing this for 40 years, so it seems like about every 7 or 8 years there's a recession of sorts.
Yeah.
But we had no debt, and we just fine-tuned which way we wanted to go, and it didn't even faze us.
Each job is self-governing, self-supporting, and self-sufficient.
Wow. That actually makes a big difference in the outcome, both in when it's completely finished and how you work.
I think it does when you work because I'm not, call it chasing money.
Yeah.
You know, when I've had some subcontractors, you could tell if they're chasing money because they were trying to get in and get out real quick.
Yeah.
Or leave the job sitting.
Or leave the job sitting and go chase some more money.
I can't even tell you how many complaints we've gotten about stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
could see.
beyond our control.
But yeah, and then you come in to bring a solution to the problem, and you have to listen to the complaints, and you have to listen to the bad attitude, and you get it, you understand, because you probably come about it, you know, from a background where you've seen it before, and customer service is important with stuff like that, but it takes one bad apple to ruin it for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's true.
Oh yeah, you got a website?
We got a website, and it's just been
Updated.
It is yourobc@va.com.
yourobc@va.com.
And that's pictures that are in there. That's our work.
Wonderful.
You know.
I love that. Well, thank you both for joining me today.
Thank you.
I had a great time getting to know you both. You guys got to talk to Barry a little bit. He was the big fella. And then you got to talk to Olga, and I hope you stop by and talk to her a little bit more because I know she wants to talk to you guys. And again, anybody that is watching on YouTube, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, BBB Send VA. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can notified every time we post up podcasts like this. And if you're listening on Spotify, BBB Sharing, please make sure to follow us. And if you're looking to do work in your home, please make sure to look up outdoor building concepts in the website for me one more time, yourobc.va.
va.com.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.